he didn't show up. Senate called him, he didn't show up. They handed over his matter to the IGP. He could not be arrested because he ran away. He's now declared wanted. The same person now came in through the National Industrial Court contesting his dismissal or his sack from the Federal Public Service. I want to know what he's contesting. Is this his sack or his probe? Ideally, as a former public officer, what could exit you from the public service? About 23 or 25. They are all stated in the Public Service Rule. Section 4, subsection 030401. They are all listed there. This includes falsification of record, suppression of record, abuse of office, corruption, embezzlement of funds, and many others. Even absence from duty without leave could earn you a sack. So, Maina may have been sacked by the head of service for absenting himself from duty. So the issue of taking the government to court, the National Industrial Court, is not the issue.
No, but
one should even be more worried about the fact that somebody declared wanted over 3 months ago. He now surfaced in the National Industrial Court. What are the police doing?
But the question some people ask is, what will give Maina the confidence to go and sue the federal government?
He is nobody's cup of tea. The law is law. Rule is rule. He must subject himself to public service rules, which promotes integrity and good character. Once you are not with good character, you don't have integrity, you have no business in being the public service.
Let me pick up a little bit from that, because I mean, the part of the other question there is, look, would any average Nigerian, any average citizen be able to stay away? First, you're invited from National Assembly, you don't show up. Secondly, the police is looking for you, they don't see you, and you go to court. Do you think any average Nigerian can do that without backing from somewhere?
That is why we question the workings of our system. Remember, the Senate President had to declare on the floor of the House that the executive should choose between the National Assembly and Maina. It got to that level. It means...
Do you think they've chosen at last? Because, well, the way and manner it's going, do you think anyone has chosen?
Whoever Maina must have been banking on to support him, I think they may have dumped him by what has happened so far. He has been sacked. Any of the 23 acts of serious misconduct listed in section 030401, that's section 4 of the Public Service Rule, can get him out. Any. He was not seen in his office for several months or for several weeks. And they sent a query to him. He never replied. These are all the issues that occurred. So it's not about head of service considering him to have been guilty of the allegation. No! Any of other issues that I mentioned could get him out of the service.
You were head of service in the States.
Myself?
Yes.
I was the director.
The director.
Yes.
Now, were you at any point in time involved or opportune to see someone sacked from the service in that state?
Yes.
For one of those reasons?
Yes.
Did any of those people come out to sue the state civil service for them being sacked? For any of those reasons?
Some of them went to court, they lost. Some of them went to court, they won. Okay, depends on the circumstance or the issue at hand. So not all of them could just be able to defeat the government having checked them out of the system.
So Maina has a right to go to court for being sacked?
To me, one thing before the other. He was supposed to submit himself to the control of the head of service. He never did that. Instead, he lied to the police to get a cover that his life was being threatened. And he was provided with officers and men to protect him. Later, police backed out when it knew that the whole thing was just a clever way of covering himself up. In the end, he checked out. Either he hibernated or he checked out of the country. Now getting back to go to National Industrial Court, his lawyer is not advising him well. If he has a case to prove in respect of the allegation against him, he ought to submit himself to the police. That is it.
But did you hear any such thing as him getting some sort of court injunction, restraining, I think the police from arresting him or so?
I have not heard of that. And I know the CJN has warned all the judges across the country to be very careful in granting injunction to people who are facing criminal offenses. So I don't think any judge will dare do that.
But being in the civil service yourself, I mean, are you surprised at the way this is turning out?
It was not as bad when I was in the system. I started in 1973 and I finished successfully in the year 2008. It was not as bad.
Yeah, but so when people say that civil service, there's a lot of corruption associated with that name or that department, what goes through your mind when you hear that?
Thank you very much. Politicians corrupt the civil servants, and in turn, civil servants corrupt the politicians. In the real sense of it, as a civil servant, we are all political animals, but we were not supposed, you are not supposed to be a member of any political party. Rather than exercising your franchise, you don't have any business to be in your ward meeting, local government branch meeting, or any party meeting whatsoever.
As a civil servant?
As a civil servant, you are not supposed to. And an issue is even happening whereby people on full-time appointment, either in federal or state, establishing business of their own, running the same business pari passu with the public service job, is unethical to get you out of the system. So, what is most important is for the head of service of the Federation and all heads of service of the Federation to take note of the fact that some civil servants could be sympathetic to their political programs, to their political ideas. They must be warned that they must not participate in partisan politics. Those who are participating in partisan politics are some of them who, because of personal interest, are blackmailing some of their colleagues, senior colleagues, in order to get positions from the politicians. They use it to bargain for political positions, whereas they knew they are telling lies. Those who are committed to the job, who are non-political in all sense of it, they do well and they perform well. But unfortunately, those who are very, very bad within the system have crept into the political arena. They are in the public office and at the same time fraternizing with the politicians.
Do you think it's easy to weed them out?
It's not easy because the politicians are not cooperating. Politicians believe that the civil servants who are coming to them, they are the loyal civil servants. And that is the bad aspect of the whole thing.
What about a reward system for those that have been professional in the civil service?
There's nothing that has gone wrong with their reward system other than when they leave the service, some of them could not access their entitlements such as gratuity and pension on time. But eventually they do get it.
Because I think the reward system is something that we should also talk about.
Yes.
Because once a veteran, one of the seniors joked and pointed at a wall clock hanging in his living room that was all he got for putting in service for almost 30 years. And if you look at it, you can actually, even in traffic in Lagos, you can get one of the best wall clocks, isn't it?
I must say that public servants in Nigeria need to get more than what they are getting now. What is prevalent in the private sector, whereby when you serve for 10 years, you are rewarded with some fantastic materials, 20 years, it's not available in the public service, except in some selective states where they use just to encourage those who are working well. Other than that, you are entitled to your pension and to your gratuity, and that's all about it. So there should be something like that to encourage the public servants. And I must say that the step taken by the new head of service of the Federation yesterday is a wonderful